I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% black all the time. Please follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Man Listen Show. You can subscribe to the show on YouTube. Click that bell icon, give us a thumbs up. That way you can be notified of when the next show comes out. Go to our Instagram, click the link in our bio so you can buy some fresh gear. You can buy our merchandise. And yeah, just tell everybody about the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Mark B. Let's bring the crew in. So, hey, man, you know, NBA playoffs is going on right now. And normally, well, every year after the playoffs, the draft happens. So right now, you know, the NBA draft combine is going on. And there's one particular player that's been getting a lot of attention from everybody, LeBron James Jr., Bronny. So I've been seeing on social media, man, a lot of grown men. You know, there's a big divide in the black community. It's like either you're a Jordan fan or you're a LeBron fan. And personally, man, I think it's a damn shame because I feel like there are people who are missing out on greatness. Like all of us lived through the Jordan era, and we're living through the LeBron James era. And I think because, you know, for whatever reason people, you know, have against LeBron, the amount of vitriol that goes against him, I think people are really going to miss. I think the game, I know for sure the game is going to miss when that brother's not playing anymore. Well, his son is on the precipice of coming into the league. LeBron has said he wanted to play, you know, play on the same team with his son, then he would contemplate retiring. His son's on the precipice of coming to the league. LeBron said he wanted to play with his son before he retires. I guess the oldest boy, because I don't know how many years Bryce, you know, the younger boy has going, you know, coming into the game. But a lot of hate going against Bronny. You know, I guess people, you know, the hate trickled down from the father to the son. Maybe some people are resentful because he's getting an opportunity. Maybe they don't think he's really qualified for just because of his name. Arika, what you think? Is it fair or unfair?
I mean, I think it's always unfair to a certain extent because most of the people commenting don't really know stats in basketball like that to even say like whether or not he deserves the praise that he's getting. Most people just either, like you said, either they just hate LeBron for whatever reason and everything that's associated with him, or they love him and everything that's associated with him. So I think that most people have an opinion without actually having any information or statistics to back up that opinion. So I don't
Well,
know.
I'll say this: there are statistics because you know he played a year at USC, and his average wasn't the best. He's been in the combine and he's had some pretty good numbers, you know, on the second day. So there's 2 days of the combine. Some of the measurables in terms of like athleticism, he did good on, which you would think that he would be able to for the most part because you know his dad is the best world-class athlete, you know, for the last, you know, several years. But then today, you know, he played and he did pretty good. You know, he got pretty good scores and comments from the commentators. So I don't know. Is it fair or foul though? I mean, based off of this his stats. And technically, I like to say we don't go after kids, but you know, he's a young person, he's a young man, right? So he's probably what 19, maybe pushing 20, you know, probably 19 pushing 20. You think it's unfair that, you know, the fact that they are going so hard against this kid? Because I don't see the problem with, you know, somebody saying, you know what, I'm going to use the ability that I have to, you know, make an opportunity for my kid.
I mean, no, I don't disagree, but people gonna find something to argue about everything. But yeah, of course it's unfair because at the end of the day, he's building a legacy. And whether that part of that draw to Bronny is that he can bring in a crowd, is that he's going to attract, you know what I mean, people looking to see him play or looking to see, you know what I mean, what he does as far as playing against his father or not. I mean, of course, LeBron James' name carries weight. So his son's name is going to carry weight, and that's going to draw crowds one way or the other. So, of course, people are going to be looking at him for that. And I don't think it's anything wrong with using what you've been given to make, you know, money. Blue Ivy out there making money off Beyonce name. She there on making money off Jay-Z tracks and whatnot. So, you know,
Hey,
I think there.
that's a
That's
good point.
that's what we want. We want to be building legacies that our children can have this generational wealth that white children have been living off of for centuries. So I say let Bronny have it, especially athletes who know they have a limited amount of time to play and, you know, push their bodies to the max to entertain and whatnot, knowing they only have a certain amount of years where they're going to be healthy enough to even make a lot of money. So if they're able to capitalize on that name and build that legacy, I think that's better for Black people as a whole. So I don't care. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think that you made a very good point about Blue Ivy and Beyonce and Jay-Z. And we've seen in Hollywood, it happens a lot. You know, somebody's parent is a producer or a writer or an actor. It happens a lot with actors. They get their children into, you know, they get their children roles or what have you. I think the piece that might be wrong, and these people they're gonna criticize LeBron. They're gonna criticize Bronny regardless. I
Mhm.
don't envy Bronny because I think that the fact that he is LeBron James' son, um, he's going to get undue criticism. It may be fair, you know, based off the numbers and based off the stats, but I don't envy him because that's got to be a lot on a young man. I know a lot of people, you know, probably would say, why do you have to play basketball? Especially because he had that scare. Remember, he had that cardiac situation on the court. And a lot of us are the age where we remember Hank Gathers and him collapsing on the court. And that's happened with other athletes. And, you know, definitely, I don't want to put that in the air. I don't want to put that in the ether. You know, I want that young man to be safe and healthy throughout whatever he does. But a lot of people have, you know, trepidations because of that. But I think what maybe rubbing people the wrong way. LeBron says, "Hey, listen, I'm not going to resign with the Lakers. You know, I'm not." What was the last? He said he was gonna opt out of his contract for next season. So basically, what that does, Erika, that puts it out there on the other teams, like, "Yo, you signed my son, I'll come play with y'all." And
Right.
well, like if you the Atlanta Hawks, right, you're not gonna win no way. Why not draft Bronny to bring Bron in and to fill the seats? Atlanta
Yeah.
be popping if Bron and Bronny was playing that. Atlanta could be popping.
Atlanta was a good spot too, just because they're like a popular city with a lot of
Right.
quality and whatnot. So they're akin to, you know, LA in their own way.
Ghetto LA. Go ahead. That's racist. That's racist.
Yeah.
But go ahead, laugh.
No, I think, you know, LeBron has this idea that he wants to play with his son on the same team. And I mean, he's been a great ambassador for the game, man. And I think he deserves to have that opportunity if he really wants it, you know, as a team, but you have to understand what you're getting into. It's not going to be about winning a championship. It is going to be about the novelty. It is going to be about the attention, the drawing people in. So as somebody who wasn't always a Laker fan, you know, but I am now, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be opposed to LeBron leaving.
I think
I mean,
a lot of people are with that. They're like, hey, listen, you know, he brought him a ring,
Yeah.
brought him a ring. Um, they were terrible before he came there. They were
Mm-hmm.
awful. And you know, he did what was right for his family. I mean, we all, you know, work and we do what's best for our families, right?
Yeah.
Move, you know, for better situations for our families. We take different jobs, making higher wages, higher salary for our family. I don't know where people get this notion that because they're athletes that they can't make decisions that are best for their family as well. I know that when he first left Cleveland to go to Miami, the decision people still hold that against him. I think he kind of fixed that when he came back. Well, he fixed that for some people. I never had a problem with it, but he fixed that for some people when he came back and he won a ring for Cleveland. So that kind of like deaded that because he was just in Cleveland not too long ago at the playoff game, and they gave him a standing ovation, which they should, right? Because he's a hometown boy. He's out of Akron. And then he went to LA. Why? Because, he wanted his kids to grow up out in LA. I think, play ball out in LA. So if he goes somewhere else because he wants to play with his son, that's something that he wants to do, like Lab says, I don't see anything wrong with it. But I just think that there's some people who will never, ever, ever approve of what LeBron James does because anything that he does, I believe that it puts him at a closer level to Jordan. And honestly, I'm to a point, man. Personally, I believe LeBron is my personal greatest player that I've seen play. Personally,
Yeah.
People take umbrage to that because they feel like that's a knock on Jordan. I don't really care. I think it's a personal thing. It's a personal opinion that I have. If you want to go off rings, Jordan ain't even the greatest.
Right. Exactly.
But people's kids, like we talked about people's kids being off limits and stuff, but sometimes kids be jumping in the fray. Like Puffy's son, he went out there and put a diss track, against 50 because 50 been on Puffy's ass, no Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he said he knocking cats out if they say no Diddy. So hey, listen, Justin, I don't want no, not Justin. What's his name? What's the boy's name? Christian. Yeah, Christian. I don't want no problems, man. I want no problems. But 50 was going back at him. What you think about that situation, man? Does 50 need to give it a rest? Because 50 been going out to everybody's, Meek Mill, people blame it on Cat Williams. And Cat Williams came out at the beginning of the year just swinging on everybody. Not everybody beefing all over. What you think, Regan?
I think 50 is a troll. I think he just says whatever he wants to say because he's just rich and who gonna check him? I think it's hilarious. And I feel like he's just like that old person that's finally made it to the point where they can say whatever they want to say about people. And it's just because we all like, dang, these are your industry favorites, but you don't really know those people. Like I've said in episodes before, we don't really know if those people are really lame in real life and if people like really just don't like each other in real life. So he's just saying probably how he really feel about people that we just don't know that maybe a bunch of people feel a certain type of way about. Like Meek Mill talking about some 50 Cent is just miserable. I was just like, Meek, just don't tweet nothing else. Just don't ever tweet again. Somebody take this man's Twitter fingers because every time Meek talk, like, didn't you spit on a girl? Stop talking.
Well, you know what they're talking about is real quiet right now, though. Jay-Z. And for whatever reason, 50 keep bringing his name. I think 50 brought his name up today, right? Like he took a shot at Jay-Z and some other people. So when that whole thing came out about Puffy, when that thing came out about Puff, folks was like, hey, the person that, the real bombshell gonna come is Jay. Now, people talk about how, his relationship with Beyonce started and he was full grown and, it was a question about her age and his age. And, he was on the hip hop scene back in the day when a lot of that stuff was going down. Now, I'm not saying that he's guilty or he's done anything, but there's grumblings. And I hope that they stay grumblings because, like I said, Jay's y'all's favorite rapper.
Jeezy.
Huh?
Jeezy.
Jeezy's yours, right? We're talking seeing Lab is Jay-Z, right? But seeing Lab, they love Jay-Z. But even though he's not my favorite, I can respect and give props to what he has done for the community. I think that once we get into certain positions, everything that we do is scrutinized and critiqued. And, there's a lot of stuff that we could critique about Jay-Z. And, one in particular was like the deal he made with the NFL. And you know, people are appreciating the deal he made to the NFL because like what's happening? They're bringing a lot more artists that Black people like to see to the halftime show, and we're benefiting from that in terms of entertainment. But a lot of people felt like, hey man, you know, Kaepernick was still in the throes of that struggle, and here you come talking about, you know, the time the boycott is over. Now, I always said, Cap having all them white attorneys, he lost me with that. He lost me with that. But just going back to like people going to critique you no matter what. I don't have a problem with Jay. I hope that nothing comes out for this brother. And 50 putting that stuff out there, I feel kind of conflicted about that because it's the same argument people made about Cat Williams. They were like, why are you putting this out against, you know, other Black men, you know, putting things out there to bring them down? Basically saying like, why can't y'all handle this behind the scenes? Like it just, why are we pitted against one another? And I get it to some extent, but I also get, hey, listen, if you felt like you were wronged, you have a right to talk about it.
And if you are just making a prediction about what seems to you to be inevitable, then you have a right to talk about that too. If he's like, listen, everybody around here knows Beyonce was a child when that old man started messing with her. Like, so if it's something to him that he thinks is absolutely the truth, as long as you speaking the truth as far as you know or understanding, then I'm okay with you speaking it. I think that, you know, you got to ask yourself, is it necessary and what's the goal? But he's in the entertainment industry. So I don't ask myself that about anything that those people do. They like attention. That's why they're in that industry. So they like attention, they want attention, and 90% of the things that they do is going to be to garner attention from the masses. So, I mean, that makes sense to me that he wants to say and do things that's going to get attention.
I think that I'm gonna have to put a filter out there. You remember, you know, back when we first started the show, we talked a lot about uh, things that were involving police brutality. You know, law enforcement brutalizing Black men, Black women. I don't think that we have seen that as much as we were seeing it around the time as the George Floyd incident. Because you remember, it was like, it's another one, it's another one. Now, we just had a situation where a police officer went to the wrong apartment and shot a young Black man. So I'm not saying that it's not happening anymore. But you remember when it was happening so much, you know, a lot of us had to say, hey, man, listen, in order for me to guard my mental wellness, my mental well-being, I got to kind of just turn this off. I can't keep, you know, dealing with this type of imagery.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to the point where I'm like that with all this beef stuff too. Because if you go on social media, a lot of the blogs dominate the news and what we get. For Black people, it's like the Shade Room, Neighborhood Talk, you know, maybe a little bit of TN.
Or something.
Yeah, you know, you know, the gossip blogs dominate stuff, and they perpetuate and they promote this stuff. You know, it started off Cat calling out everybody, then it was what, Nikki and what's the girl name? Meg Thee Stallion. Nikki and Meg Thee Stallion. Then, you know, the city girls is always beefing with somebody. Them little young rap girls, they always beefing with one another and talking bad about one another. Then the dudes start coming in there, and you know, here they are. It's like, you know, Drake and Kendrick, J. Cole, right? So that one was actually kind of entertaining because there was some solid raps in it. But you know, now you got Soldier Boy going after Meek Mill and all this stuff. And honestly, I've always said we're stronger when we are together. And this type of conflict all the time, it's getting to a point where it's not good for me personally. So I'm not that interested in, like I said on the previous show. I don't know. Am I tripping?
No, I still haven't heard 90% of those rap songs. I keep saying I'm gonna listen to it, but I think I heard maybe that he's not like us or they not like us yesterday, and I still
Yes.
tuned out to hear all of it. But all I can think of from that song is it's A minor, and I haven't made it really past that part because I laughed so hard on that part. I just zone out and move on with my life. But
I'll say this. Um, that's the only song that I listen to on repeat. And that's the only song that I've listened to in its entirety. I've heard clips of all the other songs just because like they're on social media. But I'm gonna tell you, Kendrick came out with a banger on that one. That might be a summer jam because like, hey, it's got that West Coast vibe to it, and then it's got the catchy parts like A minor, and then he said, say OV ho, you know, and they saw people at the crowd singing that. It's like that Ice Cube, No Vaseline, Nas, Ether type of, you know, diss record. And yeah, but still, even with that being said, it's enough, man. Like, you know, we got a podcast that's built on commentary, you know, giving commentary about things that happen to the Black community. And oftentimes when we get that commentary, we're critiquing. So I don't want to be hypocritical. But I just feel like the back and forth beef with people is starting to wear on me and it's getting old. Because like I think like part of it is just this is the easy way to promote now.
Well, yeah, and also it's like it used to be like, okay, diss track, diss track. Now it's like response, response. Did you hear the response today? This one is, I was like, how many responses are we gonna have to the responses? Like, this is a very long beef.
Yeah, right.
It used to be
Right.
like one big song, and maybe I listen to both songs and decide who won. But this is like serious. It was like people were dedicating their whole weekend to who won this rap beef. I was like, I'm 100% sure I have something more important to do than argue over who won this rap beef.
Listen, one of my homeboys got mad because I didn't want to engage about it. And he's like, what you don't want to debate? I'm like, no, I don't care. I just, I don't care. I don't care. And he tried to convince me, you know, why I should care. I don't care. I just, I don't. And plus, honestly, man, I debate certain people, but I used to like debate on social media, but now I'm at a point where I'm just like, listen, if you want to hear my opinion, subscribe to the Man Listen Show. With that being
Right.
said, I think we talked about it enough. We had some technical difficulties this show, but you know, it's all good. You know, we powered through it. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Man Listen Show. Subscribe to the show. We're gonna keep putting out this good content. You know, hopefully we have some good stuff to talk about. We get past this beef stuff, man. Cat, you set the world on fire, man, and got cats calling each other out. Let's get back to the positivity, you know. So that being said, we'll watch next time. Peace. Shout out to C.